Joe Flacco told us that this team he feels like is more equipped than those in the past. However, tonight he will have to do so without wide receiver Jeremy Maclin. Greg?
All right, Jamie, thank you. A reminder to you, today's broadcast is coming your way in Spanish via the SAP button on your television. The Ravens won the toss, have deferred. They will kick it away, and that is number 25, Marlon Mack. Deep in the end zone alongside him is number 39, Josh Ferguson. Very simple for the Ravens. 2 wins, and they're in, and we're underway. This one will sail deep and beyond the end zone, and so we'll start from the 25-yard line. With no Andrew Luck available, the Colts went out and got second-year quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who has thrown 11 touchdown passes and run for another 4, still learning the game.
Well, he's shown steady improvement throughout this season. We mentioned in the open the fact that when he got here in early September, he had to learn a whole new offense. It was completely different than what he was coming from in New England. So as the season's progressed, the volume has gotten more for him. Now he has more plays at his disposal.
Frank Gore, the lone back behind Brissett. And Brissett to throw on first down. Sideline pass incomplete. Broken up by Brandon Carr and intended for T.Y. Hilton. On the offensive line, all eyes on 7th-year left tackle Anthony Costanzo, whose job today is to slow down Terrell Suggs. And a big day for T.Y. Hilton would be a huge help for the Colts. His 1,448 receiving yards led the league last year. He's at 852 this season.
Well, Brandon Carr was all over that, looking to get Jacoby Brissett off to a fast start. Jumped all over the hitch route to T.Y. Hilton and knocked it away.
This is Gore. Gore for about 3. In the middle of a huge defensive line for the Ravens is nose tackle Michael Pierce in his second season. Pierce, 6 foot, 340 pounds. At linebacker, Suggs in his 15th NFL season has been amazing. A team leading 11 sacks. He's going to his 7th Pro Bowl. And his fellow Pro Bowler safety Eric Weddle, 6 of Baltimore's 22 picks. That's good for second most in the league.
Well, and we talked to head coach Chuck Pagano. He said if we get into 3rd and long situations, Jacoby Brissett has to understand, especially back in your own territory, taking a sack or throwing it away is okay. You don't want to have that sack fumble.
Brissett throwing through the hands and almost intercepted. Chester Rogers was open, and Maurice Kennedy came close to picking it off.
There is going to be some of this throughout the course of the evening. Right now it's not raining, but it rained the entire pregame warm-up. There is going to be some moisture on the football. The receivers have to be able to secure those catches. That's a tip drill that the Baltimore Ravens nearly had an interception on.
Rigoberto Sanchez kicking it away to Michael Campanaro. Short. Very short. The Ravens will come out of this with terrific field position. They look to be at about their own 35-yard line. So onto the field comes Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco, not having a typical Joe Flacco season, Trent. 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, but he has kicked it into another gear as we were discussing the last several weeks.
Well, and I think it's just number one, he's healthier. So not only is he healthier, the offensive line is playing better. We had some change of both inside guards are different than what they've had at the start of the season, so there's a learning curve there. But as I said, Joe Flacco being healthier is what's allowing him to start pushing the ball down the field more.
That punt by Sanchez, 36 yards for the record, and up the middle, Alex Collins for about 1. Despite losing both those starting guards early, the Ravens offensive line has been sturdy. Center Ryan Jensen, right tackle Austin Howard have started every game, and Alex Collins only managed 19 yards rushing in the win at Cleveland last week. He has put together a very solid season.
Ravens this time going with 2 additional tight ends, bringing Ricard, the fullback, into the game. So you think it's going to be a run, but instead they go play action pass.
Wide open over the middle and across midfield to the 45 is Mike Wallace, and Wallace still pushing forward to the 40. 23 yards and a Baltimore first down.
As I said, they add 2 extra tight ends over on this side. You have a fullback in the game. You're going to get a play fake, and then the sit-down route is going to be coming. So you get the linebackers to bite up. You get the extra defensive linemen in because they think it's going to be a pass or they think it's going to be a run. That allows the window in that second level in front of the safeties. Flacco with an accurate throw.
From the 40, this is Collins. And Collins pushes his way for about 4. The Colts 3-4 defense. Defensive end Jonathan Hankins had shoulder issues this week, but starts on the outside. At linebacker, Jabal Sheard in his 7th season out of Pittsburgh is the Indy sack leader with 5.5. And cornerback Rashawn Melvin misses his 4th straight game with a hand injury. Rookie Quincy Wilson, the 2nd rounder out of Florida, steps up. Here is Chuck Pagano. Pagano in his 6th season as the head coach of the Colts. 2nd and 6. Collins down the sideline for first down yardage. They will mark him out of bounds at about the 30, about the 28.
Nick Boyle's the tight end that moves in motion. He's able to get out in front of it, and then you got Max Williams, who's in the backfield almost from a fullback position. He gets the kick out, and Collins is able to cut it inside off both their blocks and pick up the first down. Expanded offensive lineman in this set. Now they bring him back in.
From the 28, Flacco looking deep. Now on the move. And is going to run it out of bounds for about a 1-yard gain.
Did you see what he did there? How he looked out to the left and he saw Skura. Skura was, they had the linemen split out wide. They had Howard one way and Skura the other way. And all of a sudden he's scrambling. He says, oh, wait, I got a receiver out to my left. He looked at me, almost threw him the ball. But then he realized, wait, that's one of my linemen out there. I better not chuck it. And
can't do that. It's sure to come up in film session on Monday. Javaris Allen in the backfield on 2nd and 9. Allen straight up the middle. Inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. And it'll be Antonio Morrison making the stop. And it'll be 3rd and about 6.
A little pushing and shoving after the play there. You can see talking to Ryan Jensen, the center. He was getting a little shoving match. You have to anticipate some of this time of year with the playoffs on the line, a frustrated Colts defense trying to send a message of their own.
Now Danny Woodhead in the backfield. Comes to the near side. Flacco throwing over the middle and wide open just inside the 20-yard line is Mike Wallace. But that looks like right about the first down marker. Let's see where they spot it.
Well, the kicking unit was quick to try and get on the field, but the sideline was holding him up, trying to wait and see how close this is. Looks like they're gonna put the extra guys in there to go for it.
4th and not a whole lot of yardage to gain for the first down.
Play clock under 10 as they're going to have to waste the timeout here. They were trying to get a measurement. They're trying to get the officials to say it was close enough to where they could get a measurement. The officials weren't allowing it, so they had to burn that timeout.
So the Ravens use a timeout. Let's talk about your keys for the day.
Well, first off, for the Colts, I think it needs to be a big play day for them. Brissett has 4 touchdown passes of 60-plus yards, which is number 2 in the NFL. I think they need to have those big plays to stay in this game with Baltimore. And additionally, for the Ravens, continued defensive domination. The Ravens are 8-0 when they hold their opponents under 21 points, including 3 shutouts on the season.
When it gets to crunch time, like it is for the Baltimore Ravens, do you find coaches to be more adventurous or less?
You know, I think it depends on the personality of the coach, and John Harbaugh has shown out throughout his career and even through this season to be aggressive. And, you know, you would think at this point, this juncture of the game, go ahead and take the 3 points, but this doesn't shock me that he's going for it.
Collins and Allen in the backfield. First back through is Allen, and Allen looks like he is right there at the first down.
Well, and that's all extra effort, Greg. He was initially stopped a good half-yard behind the line of scrimmage, but he was able to spin off of that initial contact and get the first down because of that extra effort. Watch as he hits the line. He gets bounced back here. Good initial surge by the Colts, but when he spins, he's able to spin off and get it past the sticks for the first down. Jonathan Hankins is the one that's able to get into the backfield and cause that initial contact, but because of the block that was being made on him, wasn't able to wrap his arms around and Baltimore got the first down.
Collins in the backfield. Collins with the football. Off right guard, and again, determined second effort. Moves the ball inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Barkevius Mingo with the stop.
Well, and I think that's the formula we're going to see from both these teams. They're going to want to establish the run, get some things going with the run, try and get some play action pass and push it up the field when they get an opportunity, especially if the rain all of a sudden starts hitting us again. Right now it's stopped, but no matter what the conditions are, I think both teams want to establish that run, and when they can hit the big play action pass, they will.
10th play of this drive. Flacco over the middle. He finds tight end Benjamin Watson, and Watson inside the 10 to about the 7, and that looks to be enough for a first and goal.
All kinds of misdirection, trying to cause confusion for the Colts defense, and you see the movement. Campanaro coming behind. They're going to do a little fake here. Pump over there. Pump over there. Watson gets to the middle. It's a tight end screen set up in the middle of the field. His blockers took off to the right. Watson saw an area in the middle of the field and ran it up that way to get the first down.
Flacco now 3 out of 3 throwing the football for 34 yards. From the shotgun, he will give it to Collins, and Collins is going to get wrapped up and lose yardage as Mingo and Morrison combine.
Well, that's one of those RPOs, the run-pass options that you see a lot of quarterbacks doing. Joe Flacco got a touchdown a week ago on a similar type play. He's handing that one off, and better get out of the way. They fall on the back of your legs. The Colts were ready for that one.
They don't call that an RPO in the huddle.
I don't think they do.
That's the stuff that they use when we talk to them.
Every coach we meet with, that's what they call it, and that's a big part of the college game. And there's several players in the NFL that have success with that as well.
This is a 6-minute drive so far. Flacco on the move, stops, throws. That's complete to Collins, and Collins is not going to get anywhere. Forward progress going to be marked at about the 12, and Anthony Walker, the rookie out of Northwestern, made the stop.
Well, and that play was blown up from the beginning. When you get initial pressure up the field where Flacco it throws the timing off. So your timing gets thrown off because you have to slide in the pocket, you have to move up. You no longer have those windows up the field because you're confined by the end zone, so you need to get down to your check down, and Walker was there for the tackle for loss.
It's a big play for the Colt defense. Flacco with all kinds of time, and now has to throw it to the end zone. It is incomplete. Mike Wallace, the closest receiver to it, but the Colt defense makes a stand and forces the field goal.
And Greg, what they did is that the Colts were content on letting them complete the ball underneath. They had 3 defenders that were rushing. The next line of defenders were right about the goal line. Everybody else was in the end zone, so there was not going to be a throw unless you were able to squeeze it into a window. Flacco slid around long enough, then he ended up throwing it away.
Justin Tucker, as steady as they come. 14 straight field goals from inside 30. And that one is good. 6:34 to play in the opening quarter. And the Baltimore Ravens jumped out to the 3-0 lead.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by the Mazda CX-5. Driving matters. And by Pepsi, welcoming you to the fun doesn't end zone.
This just shows, Trent, if you beg Mother Nature enough, she comes up with an unbelievable evening.
Yeah, it's stopped raining here for a while. Hopefully it stays that way. And the Colts got a big stop there. They talked to us. Chuck Pagano talked to us about we need to hold the Ravens to field goals and not let them convert first downs, and they were able to do that on the last possession.
The touchback will have the Colts starting again from their 25. Hey, tomorrow, Michael Irvin goes one-on-one with Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Plus, the guys break down all the playoff possibilities, and there are many. NFL Game Day morning tomorrow at 7 live on NFL Network. So here comes Jacoby Brissett, and when we spoke with him, he doesn't lack for confidence, Trent.
No, he doesn't, and he understands the situation he's in, and he's realistic about the situation he was put into when he was acquired in early September. So he's just progressively trying to get better every week, and the guys around him have responded well.
This is Gore. And Gore, a little bit of running room up the middle, gets about 3, maybe 4 yards. as we duck under 6.5 to play in the first quarter.
Well, and when I say they've responded, every single player that we talk to and coach that we talk to for the Colts talks about the leadership that Brissett brought into it. He never once made an excuse about, hey, I wasn't here, so I don't have the volume. He just put his head down and worked, and that was a great example for the other guys on the team and earned a lot of respect.
Very athletic, will not hesitate to pull it down and run with it. This time the fake to Gore, the pass to the sideline, and that is caught by T.Y. Hilton on the far side of the field. And a first down.
Well, there's that play action pass I was talking about. You want to establish the run, all of a sudden you get those linebackers to bite up, you get the secondary to turn their back because they're anticipating a receiver running up the field. Watch Brandon Carrs, he's got his eyes on the backfield. T.Y. Hilton catching that ball strong with his hands.
Hey, yeah, single, 5-7.
On first down from the 43. Gore again. And Gore across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. Frank Gore has been so consistent. Now his 12th straight year with over 1,000 yards from scrimmage. One short of Emmitt Smith's 13.
Well, and that's pretty select company when you look at those other three guys, all Hall of Famers. Frank Gore, I believe, will be in the Hall of Fame one day. Right now, he's 5th all-time in the NFL on the rushing list.
2nd and 5. Brissett with time. Lots of time. Now out here to the flat. Jack Doyle, the tight end. And Doyle out of bounds just inside the 45-yard line, but enough for another Colt first down.
Incredible protection by the Colts that time, and Jacoby Brissett has shown several times this season to hang on to the ball a long time. A little problem with the snap there, initial bobble. He's trying to get the ball down the field and just not enough time. Gets to the check down. Doyle is over in space, and he's able to make the tackle by Judon and get the first down.
So the Colts with another first down. Now at the Baltimore 44. Gore breaking tackles into the 40. Let's check it with Jamie.
As you guys mentioned, it's been so interesting getting to know Jacoby Brissett and how he has progressed into this offense, and talking to Jack Doyle about how they have worked on incorporating the quarterback in. He reflected back on that first game, that Arizona game. In the huddle, Brissett checked with Jack Doyle, hey, let's just make sure this is the route you're running, right? Doyle pretty much knew that ball was coming to him, so he was on his P's and Q's, and he made the completion.
Nothing like that one-to-one communication in the huddle. Marlon Mack in the backfield. On 2nd and 6, Mack tries the right side, and he'll be brought down short of the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd down.
Well, and Greg, it's been fun to watch the progress that Jacoby Brissett has been able to make. And I go back to first down just a couple plays ago. I heard him check at the line of scrimmage. He killed one play, got to another play. That was because of the recognition. He saw the secondary blitz that was coming off the weak side, so he checked to a run to avoid it. That just tells you the strides he's made, because his first game, he was just trying to get the ball snapped, let alone making a check and running away from pressure.
Here's a 3rd and 2. Will throw for it. That pass over the middle, wide open to Doyle, inside the 25 to the 23, and a first down. We expected to see the ball coming out in a hurry from Brissett tonight.
Well, and you would think, especially with the pressure situation that the Ravens were presenting there, Jefferson in coverage on Doyle. He does an outside release, so Jefferson bubbles over the top thinking he's got to get to the flat. Instead, Doyle runs a crossing route. Brissett hits him in stride for another first down.
It has been a point of emphasis for Jacoby Brissett to get rid of the ball sooner.
You got T.Y. Hilton one-on-one at the top of the screen.
Or up the middle to about the 20.
And Greg, we're going to see that quite a bit tonight. The Ravens like playing man-to-man coverage because they have confidence in their defenders, in their secondary, to be able to run pressure schemes, because they have that type of confidence in their secondary to play that man-to-man.
Brissett has the wind blowing in his face as you look at defensive coordinator Dean Peace. But I'm guessing that wind is less of a factor the closer you get to the end zone.
You would. The way the stadium is built, you would think that as you get inside the 20s, it's going to be less of a factor. But we've seen throughout this day, it's been gusting from time to time.
Brissett had to get rid of it in a hurry. Doyle, the closest receiver. So it'll be 3rd and 7.
Well, Kennedy was there to break up that screen. Brissett was lucky to get the ball off the pressure that came through pretty quickly. They're trying to set up the screen out to the left. Kennedy in position. Crowd tries getting cranked up here on 3rd down.
Tenth play of this drive for the Colts. Running out of time on the play clock. Throwing to the near sideline, incomplete. Off the hand of Hilton.
Once again, Brissett making a check at the line of scrimmage. He sees what he has to the outside. Gore with off coverage, so he thinks he wants to get T.Y. on the out route. Just off his fingertips. Even if he comes up with that catch, I think he's going to be short of the first down marker as Weddle was driving on it.
Adam Vinatieri, 22nd season. Consistent, but he's missed 2 of his last 4 field goal tries. This one on the way. Blocked. Nothing. The score remains.
Second from the left for the Baltimore Ravens. Tony Jefferson, number 23. Watch as he jumps over the attempted block, and then he extends himself after he gets his feet on the ground and is able to knock that ball in the air, keeping this from a tie ball game.
That'll earn you some kudos in the film session, won't it?
A couple of attaboys.
Flacco from his own 29. The pass to the far side. Chris Moore. As we hit the 1-minute mark here in the first quarter.
Well, and that's a big boost when all of a sudden you go down as an offense and the other team holds you to just the field goal attempt. And then all of a sudden the Colts come on the field. They start moving it down. They convert some first downs. They have a nice little rhythm going. Not able to get the conversion once they get down to the 20 and then getting that block. All of a sudden now the momentum, it's a game of momentum. We've talked about this all season, Greg, and now the momentum is back in the Ravens' favor.
39 is Danny Woodhead in the backfield, and Woodhead gets the handoff. Picks his way through the line and out across the 45 to the 46-yard line. And that looks like that'll be the final play of the first quarter.
Well, and Danny Woodhead just brings a different type of running back. He's been a receiver mainly coming out of the backfield throughout his entire career, but give him a draw there, get him in open space. Missed all those games early in the season because of a hamstring injury, but looks fresh now.
They do hurry with another play, and it is a complete pass across midfield and down to the 40, and inside the 40 is Benjamin Watson, the tight end, for a first down, and that brings us to the end of one. Baltimore 3-0 over Indy. Back after this, you're watching an NFL Network special. A look at the first quarter statistics as you look at Colts head coach Chuck Pagano. His future in Indianapolis, a topic of much discussion.
He really didn't have much discussion when we talked to him about it.
No, I
think we've gotten to know him enough over the years. He's going to coach one way, and that's coach the guys hard and wants them to play hard-nosed football, and he didn't want to talk about his future.
On first down, Flacco with time over the middle. That's complete to Collins out of the backfield. Collins inside the 35. Loose ball and covered. Nick Boyle, the tight end, covered the loose ball.
Well, I'm not so sure if Alex Collins doesn't jump up and steal this ball. It looked like maybe he was going to Max Williams, but on that other view, as the ball does come loose.
It's a good hit by Kenny Moore, the quarterback, forcing the fumble. Pick up the 5, 2nd and 5. Flacco, that pass off the fingertips at the 30-yard line of Benjamin Watson. So it'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, that's an area that both these quarterbacks, they like to work underneath. When they get their chance to take a shot, go up the field, Flacco, especially the last 3 games, has completions of over 30 yards to Mike Wallace. So he is starting to push the ball up the field more, but the security blanket for both these quarterbacks is the running back and tight end throwing those underneath passes to keep the completion percentage high and get the ball out of your hands as quickly as you possibly can.
So here are the Colts, as they did in the first quarter, trying to stand up on 3rd down. Flacco stepping up and on the move. Now throws, and that's complete for a 1st down to Nick Boyle.
If you're Joe Flacco and you see the shift by Alex Collins to the outside, as we're going to watch Boyle work his way across the formation, but you're Flacco and you see Alex Collins move to the outside, there's confusion in the secondary in terms of what the coverage is going to be. You know you've got an opportunity to hit a play, and when he flushes to the right, that creates a bigger window.
That's Austin Howard down on one knee. We'll check on him after this. Right tackle Austin Howard has gone under the blue tent for what looked to be a left leg or left knee injury. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, 1st down. Baltimore at the Indy, 26. Flacco on the move, throws. That pass is complete inside the 10-yard line to Chris Moore. It'll be 1st and goal.
Jabal Sheard coming off the edge. Watch him here. He's the one that bites in on the run play or the run fake. He thinks he's going to have a tackle for loss. That allows Flacco to get out into space, have plenty of time to throw. Lucky that ball not knocked away as it's thrown to the inside.
Yeah, he threw it. Looked like a little behind his man, but he's done a good job tonight so far throwing on the run.
He has. They've moved him around quite a bit, and even the chances he's had to slide out of the pocket, he's had success.
On 1st and goal, pulls it down, now throwing it overthrew his intended receiver, Nick Boyle, at about the 5-yard line.
Well, and as soon as he let that ball go, he's at the 23-yard line. I don't even know if the ball had hit the ground yet. He already had his hands on his knees and his head down because he was disgusted with himself for missing that throw. Sometimes, watch his reaction here. You're just sick as a quarterback. Sometimes those wide open guys, those are the hardest throws to complete.
And as you've told me, there are times once you've let it go, you go, oh no.
You wish you had a string on it to just be able to pull it back.
2nd and goal. Collins. Brought down by Jabal Sheard. Close to the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd and goal.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised they come back to a similar type formation. I know they're changing personnel groups right now, but they go to a similar formation. You're going to have Wallace matched up one-on-one with the rookie Quincy Wilson out to the outside. They didn't, though. They went to a different formation, so now
Danny Woodhead in the slot. Flacco throwing, end zone, touchdown, wide open. Michael Campanaro.
Flacco's going to come out and have his eyes to the left, looking to the 2 receivers on the left side. Campanaro just on the right side. Watch him. Number 12 work in the middle of the field. Flacco's eyes are out to the left. He comes back to that 3rd progression. The Colts lose him in the middle of the field. Easy touchdown for Baltimore.
His last 4 games now, Joe Flacco, 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. 10-play scoring drive, and the extra point attempt is good. Justin Tucker now 35 for 35 in point after touchdown attempts. 12:15 to play in the first half. Flacco to Campanaro, touchdown, and a 10-0 lead.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network. And by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Camden Yards here in Baltimore, the home of the Baltimore Orioles, which opened in 1992, and some familiar statues out front. Cal Ripken, Frank Robinson, Eddie Murray. This one goes through the end zone and out for the touchback. And again, the Colts starting from the 25. It is a Christmas Day special. Big Ben and the Pittsburgh Steelers square off against Jadeveon Clowney and the Houston Texans. Steelers-Texans, Christmas Day, 4:30 on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. Speaking of those Steelers, how about that shocker late today that they've released linebacker James Harrison?
That is shocking just because the timing of it all, right? You're a couple games left in the season and getting rid of a dynamic defensive player. Hasn't had a lot of plays this year, but when you talk about the history of the Steelers defense.
This is Marlon Mack out of the backfield, and he's run out of bounds on the far side of the field.
Well, I would think at some point in time on this drive, if you're Jacoby Brissett, you have to try pushing the ball down the field. You have to try getting a big play. I don't think you can work the ball down the field consistently against this Ravens defense. They're such a big play defense, whether it be disruptive in the backfield, getting sacks, getting interceptions, takeaways. They lead the NFL in those things. So sometime during this drive, you need to try going over the top, if anything, just to loosen the defense up.
White 20, cut.
On second down and short yardage, this is Marlon Mack trying to turn the corner and not going to get to the first down marker. He is run out by C.J. Mosley on his way to his third Pro Bowl.
C.J. Mosley, 57's in the middle of the field, and he's just going to run all the way to the sideline. He's able to make this tackle. Davis is the one that gets him to bounce, but Mosley, because of that speed, not only does he lead the Ravens in tackles, he's 6th in the NFL in tackles.
So 3rd and 3 and the loss of a yard on that play. Brissett needs the 35-yard line for a first down. Gore has the first down yardage across the 35 to about the 36 or 37. Willie Henry made the stop.
Well, and I thought Suggs was a little early coming off of that ball there. He timed it out perfectly. They may have to change that silent count up. But Gore able to get the first down.
You know, everybody seems to be amazed at the season that Terrell Suggs is having, except him.
You know, it's just his work ethic. He has dealt with some injuries throughout his career, but he talked to us. The biggest thing he said he's done is change his diet.
This is Gore, left side, and Gore has another first down close to midfield. They'll mark him down at the 49-yard line. Brandon Carr made the stop.
2 plays in a row now. Frank Gore's been able to be effective running the football. Look for them to set up a play-action pass and try and take a shot down the field. I got to imagine at some point in time they've got to try getting over the top of this defense.
Triangle, 48.
Gore, 7 carries, 37 yards so far.
You're 19. Okay.
This time they fake it to Gore. Brissett throwing wide open is Hilton to the 30-yard line. It'll be first down. That's a 21-yard pickup.
Well, there's that play action pass. They tried hitting it further up the field, and what it was more of a clear out for T.Y. Hilton to work the underneath throw. Ball a little bit low, so he has to slide to catch it. Could have been some extra yards after catch if that ball was a little bit higher. Colts will take it as it gets him down into field goal range.
Hey, you know it. You're coming.
Now from the 30.
Okay.
Gore. A little hesitation before he hits that line hard to the 25. So getting back to Suggs, I thought it was telling when I asked him if he was a little hesitant about his comeback from the torn Achilles a couple of years ago. He says, I was just afraid that I wouldn't have the sizzle.
Well, it's just his work ethic. He's always put in the work. I think you talk to any of his teammates over the years, and he was very complimentary of Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and what he learned from them as veteran players, and he saw that work ethic from them and wanted to carry on that tradition of defense.
This is Marlon Mack, and Mack hitting the middle of that line before Tony Jefferson brings him down. That is another first down for Indianapolis.
Mack is a change-up guy to Frank Gore. He has a little bit more of a burst, a little bit more of a slasher type runner. Frank Gore is one foot in the ground and cut. Mack is a good change of pace for the Colts.
And it is clear so far, Trent, this Colts team has shown it can run on the Baltimore defense.
Well, and they thought that was going to have to be how they affect, because they realized the pressure that they can put on the quarterback. They realized they don't want to put the weight of this game on Jacoby Brissett. If they could have some balance, that's the way they could be most effective.
Throwing, end zone, incomplete. Down the sideline, Ross Travis, the tight end, the intended receiver. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Chuck Pagano said there were a number of things that have happened that needed to happen tonight, and one of them is when you're in field goal range, get touchdowns.
Yeah, he was pretty simple with that. He said we got to hold the Ravens 2 field goals, and when we're down in there, we've got to convert those for touchdowns. So it makes me believe that he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. It could almost be 4-down territory if you get to a close on the sticks.
On 2nd and 10, Brissett. Screen, left side, Gore. Looking for the end zone. Touchdown. Career rushing touchdown, number 78 for Frank Gore. We have a penalty marker down.
Good job by Frank Gore, setting up the blocks, working his way to the inside, allowing the blocks to happen on the outside, and then bouncing it. And that gives him the angle. Looks like it's going to be confirmed.
There is no penalty marker. But a great effort by Frank Gore.
That was the Frank Gore drive. 2 big runs early on.
9 plays, 75 yards. Adam Vinatieri. And that is good. 7:38 to play in the first half, and the Colts answer with a touchdown. 9-play, 75-yard drive for the Indianapolis Colts as they climb back into this game. It's a 10-7 Ravens lead with just about 7.5 to play in the first half. No penalties, no turnovers so far, and this one goes out of the end zone. Let's go back to the touchdown. I called it a rushing touchdown. I could not have been more wrong.
Well, it's going to be a screen, and so you come out, work over this way, but it's the block you see that comes out, gets into space that's going to open things up. Vunovich is initially going to block to the inside. Then he gets out in space. He's going to get a seal there. See him get up onto the safety, and that allows Gore to hurdle and cross the goal line for the touchdown.
What great blocking by Jack Doyle, the tight end. Does Frank Gore love football?
Every time we talk to him, he has such tremendous passion for it. It's, you know, you ask how much longer you can keep playing, and he says, I just love it. So,
play fake, Flacco to the near side, and just plain old missed Alex Collins. It'll be 2nd and 10. The playoff picture in the AFC looks like this, and all eyes on Tennessee, Buffalo, and Baltimore. Those 3 teams at 8-6, and if they win out, Baltimore's in. It's that simple.
Well, it's that simple. Just explain it that way. There's so many different tiebreakers. We could go and we would miss 2 or 3 plays if we explained all the different tiebreakers. But yes, the simple thing is Baltimore wins twice, they're in.
This is Collins. Collins breaking free. 35, 40, and a first down.
Collins coming into tonight, 4.9 yards a carry, and it's gaps to run through like that. We talked about the offensive line early on dealing with some injuries, and the way they've gotten better and better each week. Only 3 sacks in the last 4 games, but it's the running game that's gotten going as well. Averaging 122 yards a game on the ground in the last 4 weeks.
Collins again. Trying to shake tacklers in the backfield, and looks like he's lost a yard on the play. Marcus Hunt with the stop. 6:40 to play in the first half.
Good job by Hunt getting into the backfield, causing problems, making it bounce to the outside, and able to by the time you stretch it and bounce it, what happens? The other guys rally up, make the tackle for loss.
And you saw how the rain is falling here in Baltimore. On 2nd and 10, Flacco over the middle, and the catch is made by Benjamin Watson. Let's check in with Jamie.
Greg, as that last shot just told us, it has begun to rain again in Baltimore. Now, what brought it in is some significant wind that we've seen throughout this first half, not only on the goalpost, but during the national anthem. It was quite significant. I even saw Justin Tucker make note of it to see how the wind was affecting it. Now, I was able to speak with a member of the grounds crew for the stadium. He said they took the tarp off at about 1:30 this afternoon. Took them 45 minutes because there was so much rain on it, so something to keep an eye on with the field.
All right, Jamie, thank you. That pass is complete to Javaris Allen for a first down for Baltimore.
Well, good job by Allen that time coming up with the catch. Watch after the play, after the rollout here. The ball is low and behind him. He's able to reach back, make the catch, get the conversion for first down.
Now, I've worked with you often enough to know that of all the things that quarterbacks hate, rain is the worst.
Rain is bad, but it's wind. Wind will get you. It causes that you have to release the ball differently, the timing of it, and when you get a heavy rain, though, and the ball gets wet, it's hard to get that grip. We've seen a couple times Joe Flacco missing some easy throws.
And we have rain and wind here today.
Yes, we do. Well, and it was interesting watching the kickers during pregame warm-up, just with how that was going to affect them. Obviously, the moisture of the ball is one thing, and the weight of the ball as it gets wet, it's heavier as a kicker. But then the wind, how much you have to give for the draw one way or another, going into it or having that crosswind.
On 2nd and 8, Flacco, deep drop, throwing. That is complete to the 25-yard line, and forward to the 22 is Mike Wallace.
That is a long developing play for Joe Flacco. He's going to give the hard play fake here, and he hangs on to the ball quite a bit because he's waiting for Wallace to get open. It's not a double move, but it's one where you're going to press up and you're thinking you're going to do the deep post, and then you curl it off inside the numbers. You pick a spot between the hash and the numbers, that soft spot, able to come back and make the catch.
Another Baltimore first down, and penalty markers fly.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's the left tackle, Ronnie Stanley. And our first flag of the day, our first penalty of the day, on either side.
Well, the Colts were lucky. Once again, they had some miscommunication on the pass coverage. Watson came and split to the outside, and there was confusion whether a secondary safety, Anthony Walker, ultimately ran out there to get him in coverage, but he was yelling back at the defensive back. So fortunate the Colts were that time.
Incidentally, right tackle Austin Howard, who was injured earlier, is back in the lineup at his slot at right tackle. On 1st and 15, Flacco under pressure and going down back at the 45-yard line. Both Jabal Sheard, Markevius Mingo.
We're going to have both edges are coming in here. It's a play fake. You've got a cross route by both receivers. You only have two guys going out in the route. You want max protection with a hard play fake. That takes a lot of time to develop. The Colts were able to get pressure on the wide receivers, bump their routes so they weren't able to release freely. That allows time for Sheard and Mingo to come up with a big sack.
Loss of 17 makes it 2nd and 32, and here's Flacco. That short pass complete to Woodhead. And Woodhead to about the 37, maybe the 36-yard line. 2:40 to play in the first half. Baltimore with 2 timeouts, Indy with all 3.
One with this long on 3rd down, you're just trying to get yourself more or closer field goal range. If you get an opportunity to take a shot, but I can't imagine. It looks like the Colts defensively are going to go to a soft cover 2, only rush 3 people.
That one wide open over the middle. Michael Campanaro, and Campanaro all the way to the 20-yard line.
Once again, rush 3, drop 8, hit the underneath coverage, get to the middle of the field.
So that gives Justin Tucker a much better shot at 3 points. 2-minute warnings to play. You know, it's been about 48 hours now since we lost our colleague, the one and only Dick Enberg. His Hall of Fame credentials have been well documented. What can't be counted are the many friends and fans he accumulated over a legendary broadcast career. Our prayers continue today for the wife and children of our friend, Dick Enberg. One of the best kickers in football, Justin Tucker. He's made 15 straight, and he will line this one up from about 39 yards out on 4th and 9. That kick into the wind is good. Minute 55 to play in the first half. 13-7 Ravens.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by the Lexus December to Remember sales event, now through January 2nd, and by Madden NFL 18. This is the year. In stores now.
Those shots from Monday when Colts players and cheerleaders were off singing Christmas carols at Riley Hospital for Children in Indianapolis. It's a visit that's become an annual tradition for the Colts that brings added joy to patients and their families. Nice thing to do. Into the end zone where it'll be downed by the Colts, and they'll start from their own 25. Colts on offense, better than expected, Trent?
Well, the last series especially, they got the running game going with Frank Gore able to work it. Then that gets the play action pass, gets the sliding catch by T.Y. Hilton, and then that sets up the screen. Nice blocking out in front. Gore hurdles, crosses the goal line for the touchdown. A little bit different situation here now with under 2 minutes to go in the half. The fact that Indy has all 3 timeouts. You don't want to get the ball back quickly to Baltimore with a costly turnover, but you do want to try and get the ball down the field, get yourself in a position to score, because Baltimore gets the ball first coming out in the second half.
Brissett had to throw it away. It'll be second down. You know, one of the things we said we'd pay attention to was Anthony Costanzo and left tackle, and the conversations we had with him and how he goes against Terrell Suggs. First time wasn't so great.
He said that rookie year was a rude awakening. He said he taught me a lesson when it came to playing the position, because Suggs had his way that rookie year back in 2011.
I believe you call it his worst ever. Second and 10. Brissett. That's Doyle over the middle to tight end. And his forward progress will be marked at the 30. Clock continues to move. Under a minute 40 to play here in the first half.
Costanzo's holding his own tonight, though. You can see the Colts they're in hurry up, but they're not in 2-minute hurry up. They understand if they don't make this third down, they don't want to give the Ravens too much time.
3rd and 4. Brissett over the middle. Doyle again for the first down.
Now
Out to the 40.
Well, now you'll see a little bit more tempo coming from them unless they decide to use a timeout, which it doesn't look like they're going to do. Trying to get that communication.
Again, Indianapolis with all 3 timeouts remaining. Brissett off the hands of the intended receiver, T.Y. Hilton, and he's a little slow getting up.
Well, that ball was a little high, and as T.Y. went up to try and catch it, Jefferson hits him in the low back. You see him arc back the other way. That's understandable why you're a little slow getting up. Stayed in the game, though, back in the huddle.
Second and 10, 58 seconds on the clock. The near sideline. In and out of the hands of Kamar Aiken.
Well, that's a ball that Kamar Aiken has to come up with. Kennedy undercuts it, doesn't get his hands on it, so Aiken has a clean shot at it. He catches that ball. Not only does he get the first down, but he's able to get out of bounds. Now all of a sudden, you left yourself 3rd and long. And you get the crowd cranked up, so your pass rushers are going to have an edge.
Brissett pulled it down and went down at the 30-yard line. Willie Henry got to him. And we see Baltimore using its 2nd timeout to stop the clock.
Well, Judon gets the inside pressure. That causes Brissett to flush, and Henry's there to clean it up.
I want to remind you, stay tuned for the Lexus halftime. Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Michael Irvin bring you highlights and analysis of the first half today. Michael Campanaro is deep at his own 20-yard line. Campanaro has returned 1 punt for a touchdown this year, 77 yards against the Chicago Bears.
Well, Sanchez has the wind at his back, so hopefully he comes up with a better punt than he had the first time.
You'd have to, wouldn't he? First one went just 36 yards. High snap, he handles it. And gets a bounce. Bounces off Campanaro, and it's loose. Looks like the Ravens were able to cover. Campanaro having trouble corralling the loose football. Ross Travis covered it for Baltimore. Happy holidays to you and yours. 36 seconds remaining in the first half. Want to make a correction. Jalen Hill was the Raven who covered that loose ball on the punt. So now here's Flacco at his own 30 with 1 timeout available. That pass, the near side, and complete, and out of bounds is Danny Woodhead. Stops the clock with 31 to play.
Well, Baltimore still has the 1 timeout. They'd like to save that as much as they possibly can to get themselves into field goal position or an attempt at a field goal. Woodhead able to get out of bounds. That allows the Ravens to huddle up. Some point in time, you're going to have to get a chunk of yards here, though. You're not going to be able to get 5-yard out, 5-yard out.
Flacco, nobody here on this side of the field.
Well, that's going to be intentional grounding. I would think it would. There was nobody over there. He was still in the pocket.
And there is no flag on the field.
Third down.
So 27 seconds on the clock. 3rd and 6.
Yeah, I don't get that one. He was standing in the pocket. He wasn't outside the imaginary, tight ends on each side, or tackles on each side. There was no receiver in the area. He did get it past the line of scrimmage, but
Flacco pulls it down on the move and threw it away. So that stops the clock with 19 seconds to play, and it's 4th and 6, and onto the field comes the punting unit.
Well, and the Colts only rushed two defenders that time, dropping 9 into coverage. Nowhere for Flacco to go with that ball.
Overall, Trent, looking at this first half, you think the Indianapolis Colts feel good about this first half?
You'd have to. The first 3 possessions by the Ravens, they went down and scored, but the Colts were able to hold them to 2 field goal attempts.
This kick sails out of bounds.
And then they had the long touchdown drive of their own. So 1 possession game going into half.
We'll be back after this brief message from FedEx. That was a 28-yard punt into the wind by one of the better punters in the game, Sam Cook.
I think maybe the Colts will come out and maybe try and get a screen in here, like wide receiver screen, something to get somebody in space. See if you can get some yards after catch, get down in position. You still have 3 timeouts, so. Can't run around too much, but They do have the wind at their back for a field goal attempt.
Brissett, sideline pass, and that is caught by Hilton, but he's ruled out of bounds. One of the stronger passes that Brissett has made all night.
And I think they're going to review that. I thought his back foot may have been on the ground as he caught the ball. And then the second one comes down without it dragging. I'm surprised they haven't stopped to take a look here, because it's the booth that's got to make this. And here we're getting a call right now.
Tony Correnti is our referee tonight, and he's coming over to the sideline.
Looked like as he was catching that ball, that right foot was still on the ground. The toe was still on the ground. And then the left foot comes down in bounds. Are they going to determine he has control enough with that right toe on the ground? I think that's conclusive enough to call that a completion.
You quarterbacks. You quarterbacks.
I was thinking that from the beginning. I was like, this is kind of nonchalant. Why is it nobody's T.Y. was the only one that was looking for the completion. So has to be done by the booth under 2 minutes.
So 13 or 7 seconds left on the clock. And the question will be if he had possession when that right foot was on the ground.
You see how matter of fact I made that sound? I made it seem like, yeah, I was pretty convincing on that. And I think it is. I think that right foot, I think the toe's still on the ground. I don't think he has to drag it. I think it's a matter of having control. And I think it's pretty clear on the images we have there that he had possession of the ball. There was no movement on the ball.
I'm going to agree with you. Just to keep from arguing with you for the rest of the night.
Most of the time, you don't commit one way or another. You let me sink or swim with how it goes. So that must mean you feel pretty confident about it.
I think when you slow it down, it is pretty clear that right foot is down when he makes the reception.
But that just emphasizes once again how tough of a job the officials have when the game is going as fast as it is, to try and make those calls in fractions of a second. I mean, the natural thought was that it was incomplete, except, being the quarterback as you accused me of, and rightfully so many times, is that right toe still on the ground. His possession is here's his toe still on the ground, and there's possession of the ball. Ball doesn't move. Second foot comes down. We'll find out right here.
After review, the receiver was able to maintain control of the football going out of bounds. It is a catch. It will be Indianapolis ball, first down at the 47-yard line. Will the game clock operator please reset the game clock to 9 seconds? 9 seconds.
So they'll add 2 seconds. And the line of scrimmage is the Indianapolis 49.
Well, those 2 seconds are huge, Greg, because they still have the timeout. He was able to get out of bounds, confirmed as a catch. They have the wind at their back. They're going in the direction of the wind. So I don't know how far Vinatieri can kick with the wind at his back. Now they're moving the ball. Where are they moving the ball even further?
They're going to call it the Baltimore 49.
47. So
47.
Instead of their own 47, it's the Baltimore 47. So now you're able to pick up another 5 yards or so with the wind. You could give this another shot, and you have that timeout in your pocket.
Vinatieri has a long of 53 this season. Brissett got to throw it in a hurry, and that's incomplete. And the clock is down to 4.
Well, there's a flag on the far side of the field.
Offside. Defense number 55. Lined up
that's
in the
big.
neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
So they will advance the ball to the 42.
Well, and that may be enough to try it. You can come out here, and with the wind at your back, it's going to be a 60-yarder. But there isn't enough time to run another play, get a timeout, get out of bounds. So that's a costly penalty on Suggs, giving him a free 5 yards and allowing him this field goal attempt as the half expires.
And Baltimore is going to take a timeout here. It'll be their third and final timeout. Want to remind you, stay tuned. Lexus halftime report coming up. Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Michael Irvin bring you highlights and analysis of today's first half. Adam Vinatieri, 22 years in the National Football League.
One we have to remember, going back to the first quarter, Tony Jefferson had a block on a much shorter field goal than this. So the Ravens have been able to put pressure.
"60 yards with the win." Is it long enough? It is not.
Close.
Straight enough, but not long enough.
He needed that gust to come along right at the right time to give it that final push.
And Vinatieri has now missed 4 of his last 6 field goal attempts.
And you can see from that last angle, it almost hit the crossbar.
That's the end of the first half. With a score, Baltimore 13 and Indianapolis 7. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Lexus.
Simon's how to make it to town. Santa making very telling he can take the freeway down. Run, run, Rudolph, I'm reeling like a merry-go-round.
Welcome back to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. We're getting set for the start of the second half. Baltimore with a 13-7 lead on the Indianapolis Colts. And check out this first half highlight presented by Philips Sonicare. It was 3-0 when Joe Flacco found Michael Campanaro in the end zone to boost it to a 10-0 lead. As we said, it is now 13-7. Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl back with you in Baltimore. And you made the point as soon as we went to break at halftime, if only there wasn't a blocked field goal and only the field goal attempt by Vinatieri had been a little bit longer, this would be a different game.
This could be a tied ball game. Indianapolis is playing the type of game that they want to play. They want to hold Baltimore to field goal attempts, which they've been able to do on 2 occasions that Baltimore has got down there. What they've done well offensively is relying on veteran running back Frank Gore. He has shown a fountain of youth. He's been getting bursts to the outside in the running game, but this is the screen pass that gets the Colts back in the game. He shows some speed to the outside, sets up the block, and then dives for the goal line to get it to 10-7 after this touchdown.
As you look at the numbers from this first half, it reminds you once again the game is not played on paper. On paper, you didn't know how many people would give the Colts much of a chance in this game.
Well, they played a very clean game. You see, the Colts don't even have a penalty in the first half. Baltimore only had 2. Neither team has a turnover considering the wet and windy conditions that we have here tonight. Both teams have taken good control of the ball.
Baltimore getting the ball first here in the second half, and this ball will not be returned out of the end zone. The Ravens will start at their own 25. We go down to Jamie.
Trent, you mentioned Frank Gore found the fountain of youth in that first half. We'll expect Chuck Pagano to go back to the running back more in the second half. Defensively, though, he said they need to shore things up against Mike Wallace. The Ravens are finding him too much in the open field within that offense. John Harbaugh said, in particular with those 38-yard punts and the 26-yard punt that we saw, he did think the wind affected that greatly. Also, he said they need to win the game up front, both sides, and they need to buy Flacco more time.
All right, thank you, Jamie. The Ravens will start it off with Collins up the middle and not much there. Worth repeating what the Baltimore Ravens are playing for. A win tonight and a win here in Baltimore next week against Cincinnati puts them in the postseason.
Well, and that's what you're ultimately trying to get done. But just to finish up what Jamie was talking about when talking to Harbaugh about the effectiveness of Mike Wallace and what you want to do is they've been able to get the play action pass. Wallace has been able to find those inside routes, sit down in between the numbers and hash, and find a window at that second level.
Pass to the near side. That pass is complete to Nick Boyle, the tight end. And it looks like it'll be about a 4-yard pickup. To the 30, it'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, I've been impressed by this Colts defense. They came in and you know, we talked about, you sit here and you look at the numbers, right? We all go through the numbers, and you know, the Colts defensively, numbers wise, they've struggled this season. They've had a number of injuries on that side of the ball, a lot of new players. So far they've shown up pretty well.
Pass to the far side of the field. That's complete for a first down to Woodhead.
That's one area they've had problems, though, is the miscommunication in different formations. That's the 3rd time tonight that we've seen a formation where a player is forgotten about or who actually is going to cover that player. This time you see Jabal Shear trying to run all the way to the outside, recognizing at the end that nobody's covering Woodhead, and first 2 times it didn't cost them. That time it did.
So a new set of downs for the Ravens. Play fake to Collins. Flacco on the move, looking, throwing, sliding catch is made by Collins. And that'll be a first down at the Indianapolis 46.
Well, Joe Flacco doesn't give enough credit for his ability to throw on the run. And once again, he's not looking to run, but when he gets outside the pocket, his ability to throw accurately on the run, this time putting in a spot where Alex Collins has to go down low and get it, but considering the wet, windy conditions, it's a good throw.
Short drop this time, and Flacco over the middle inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. The pass is complete. And Rashad Perriman, which is first catch for the day.
Flacco's been very efficient all day. Not putting up huge numbers, but in these conditions, you don't expect huge numbers. 20 of 26 so far, taking great control of the ball.
Collins. And he and TJ Green doing a little hand-to-hand combat with the stiff arm and the toss out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Watch Collins here as he gets to the outside. He could have angled and picked up 2 or 3 more yards, but instead he tries throwing the stiff arm. Not sure what that's about.
Handful of hair.
He could have easily lowered his shoulder and gotten 2 or 3 extra yards, but instead decided to do a little pushing contest.
On first down, they'll go back to the ground game in Javaris Allen. Allen, running room right side. Bumped out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
Well, Benjamin Watson comes in motion. He tries to get a chip on Sheard, and Austin Howard's able to seal it. That's what gets Allen to the outside.
So nice drive by the Baltimore Ravens has advanced the ball now to the Indianapolis 24. Pittsburgh running away with the AFC North at 11-3. Baltimore in the second spot, 8-6, and trying to find the wild card. Allen. Nice move inside to the 15. Green again with the stop.
A gain of 9 yards.
Well, and this is where the Colts have been able to hunker down on defense. And yeah, the Ravens were able to get the 1 touchdown pass to Campanaro, but the other 2 times forced to try a field goal. Colts have put themselves in position where they got to try and do it again, this time on second and short, however.
Rain continues to fall on 2nd and 1. Baltimore with 3 tight ends. Allen. Not going to get there on this one. Going to be marked for no gain, and it'll be 3rd and about a yard. Al Woods, the nose tackle.
Al Woods just smothered him. There was nowhere to go. He thought he was going to push that pile to get the first down because it was 2nd and less than a yard. But Woods wrapped him up, and there was no escaping that.
Number 99 is 6'4", 330 pounds in his 8th year out of LSU. 3rd and 1. Quick pass out to the near side, and it's going nowhere. Nick Boyle brought to a stop by Kenny Moore.
Well, that's frustrating if you're the Ravens. You got Austin Howard, your right tackle. You got Ronnie Stanley, your left tackle, out in space. You're trying to trick them with a formation. Benjamin Watson is out there as well, and yet you let the defender get right through and make the tackle for loss, forcing a 4th down and a field goal attempt.
So Justin Tucker, good from 30, good from 39, now from 36 yards out. And that kick is perfect. 9:24 to play here in the 3rd. Baltimore with a 16-7 lead.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by Bud Light, brewed to be enjoyed responsibly, and by Hyundai, official sponsor of the NFL.
The Babe Ruth Birthplace and Museum, Baltimore, the home of George Herman Ruth, filled with Ruth memorabilia. Also some memorabilia from the Colts days here in Baltimore, including a John Unitas jersey and the Super Bowl V trophy. 16-7. Baltimore with the lead. This is a returnable kick. From the 6-yard line, it's Marlon Mack. Mack right up the middle. Mack to the 35, to the 40.
Well, and that's the type of burst and starting field position that the Colts need. Kind of shocking that Tucker, with the wind at his back, only kicks that to the 5-yard line. They must have. Normally he puts that into the stands, so I don't know if he tried kicking it high and short on purpose, thinking they could try and get a tackle inside the 20. But that definitely worked out in the Colts' favor.
34-yard return.
Go!
And this is Frank Gore. As the Colts look to rediscover that ground game that worked so well for them in the first half. In the first half, a punt, blocked field goal, touchdown, a punt, and a missed field goal. And back in that first half, first time that the Colts have had a first half with no turnovers and no penalties in 4 seasons.
It's pretty remarkable. It was a clean first half for both teams, really. You think of it, no turnovers with these conditions, and smart football game. As you mentioned, just 2 penalties total, both by the Ravens.
On 2nd and 7, Brissett. Way high, incomplete. Too high for Jack Doyle. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Well, we saw Joe Flacco have a couple of those in the first half. That time Brissett just loses the grip on the ball when it's raining like this, when the ground is wet, as the ball gets wet. Sometimes it's going to sail on you a little bit. That sailed quite a bit as it went over Doyle's head.
Somewhat. Brissett throwing. Caught by Hilton. Nicely thrown ball by Jacoby Brissett, and that's a first down for the Colts.
Hilton comes in motion to the inside of Aiken. Aiken is just running a clear out. When you do that stacked formation, there's one of 2 directions. You can either take it a post across the face of the safety that's in trail coverage, or you can take it to the corner. That time he takes it to the corner. An accurate throw in these conditions by Brissett.
24-yard pickup. Hilton, 4 catches, 75 yards on the day. This is Gore. Second effort gets into the 30. And we duck under 8 minutes to play here in the 3rd.
Well, that's exactly what Chuck Pagano told Jamie coming out of the half. He said we need to get some more of Frank Gore and get that running game going, trying to maintain some consistency with it. Gore 10 carries for 48 yards at this point. Hasn't had that big breakout run, but it's been able to set up the passing game with the play action and, of course, the screen where he got the touchdown on.
2nd and 7. And the rain comes down. Brissett off of the hands and incomplete. Very close to being intercepted. Eric Weddle had interception number 7 of the season in his hands, and it couldn't hold.
Well, and this is the problem with trying to catch the ball with your body instead of reaching out with your hands. The rain's coming down even harder here as we get into the second half. Instead of reaching back with his hands, yes, the ball could have been thrown better, get it out in front, but in these conditions, you can't try and arm catch it. A lot of times you have to reach up there and try and snag it, because if it gets into your body, it's going to pop in the air like it did.
3rd and 7. Brissett to the near sideline. Not close enough to Chester Rogers. And onto the field comes Vinatieri and the field goal unit.
Brissett with a good pocket around him, able to step up and get to the outside where he has a clean lane to throw that football to Rogers, just not accurate enough with it.
Vinatieri today had a field goal block, first time since 2013. And his first ever career 60-yard field goal attempt came up short. This one from 48. Hooks it to the left and got it through. Into the wind from 48 yards out. 3 more on the board for Indianapolis. 7:13 to play in the third. Baltimore by 6. Cannot say enough about our intrepid crew, especially in these conditions. Thank you, guys and gals. 16-10. Baltimore. Chris Moore will not run this one out of the end zone. They'll come out to the 25-yard line, and once again, the Baltimore Ravens know exactly what's ahead of them. They're 8-6. Tennessee is 8-6. Buffalo is 8-6. You see the games they have remaining. Should all 3 win out, Baltimore and Buffalo claim the wild card spots.
Well, and you can see it's confusing because right now Baltimore is the 7th seed, but because of some tiebreakers that go into effect, they would actually bump ahead if all teams finish tied. So they control their own destiny. Win tonight, win next week, and they're in.
Alex Collins, left side, running room across the 30. Antonio Morrison with the stop. We knew what these weather conditions were going to be coming in. Trent, who did you think would benefit the most from weather like this?
Well, you would think with the offensive line playing the way they have in recent weeks that the Ravens would benefit from it and try and get the running game going. But actually the Colts have done a good job of managing this, keeping this game close. Frank Gore has been running the ball effectively, and they've sprinkled in some plays. Brissett isn't playing. He's completing less than 50%, but he's taking care of the football, not turning it over, and he's made some timely throws to get him in position to get the scores.
The Colts will go, hey, give us whatever you got. We played in snow in Buffalo not so long ago. This is Collins again. And Collins is dragged back by number 91, Hassan Ridgeway.
Well, it's important to remember Chuck Pagano was on this staff for a long time here in Baltimore, so he knows what John Harbaugh likes to do. Ted Monachino, the defensive coordinator for the Colts, was a linebacker coach for the Ravens for a long time, so he knows it's that attack style defense. So I think as this game continues forward, you'll see some more aggressive calls and aggressive plays out of the Colts.
On 3rd and 3, Flacco had it popped up in the air and it falls incomplete. Jabal Sheard got a hand up.
Well, they're very fortunate, are they, that time, because Grover Stewart, as this ball pops into the air, I thought he was going to have a chance. Watch number 90 right here. It looks like he's going to go for it, and Jensen gets his hands back on him. It's actually Skura that comes up and knocks him away from the ball. That could have been an interception and great field position for the Colts.
It has not been a great night for the kickers. That one by Cook, probably the best of the night. This is Chester Rogers. Rogers breaking tackles and spins forward close to the 35-yard line. And we have a man down. A Raven is down at about the 33-yard line. That's Jalen Hill. Rain continues to come down pretty hard. Welcome back to Baltimore. 6:01 to play in the third. The Ravens with a 6-point lead in Indianapolis at its own 33. Gore finding running room on the right side and first down yardage. Terrific run by Frank Gore out to the 44.
Not that he needs any reason to run hard, but these conditions just seem like a Frank Gore kind of condition day. You know, playing on natural grass, being outside, the rain coming down, physical game. Going to be hard to wrap him up because everybody's slippery because of being wet. 11 rushes, 59 yards so far today.
He and Alex Collins doing the dirty work. Gore again. And finding running room again out to about the 47-yard line. C.J. Mosley making the stop.
See the way he's jumping and cutting? It doesn't seem like the wet conditions are affecting him at all.
Some guys, Trent, I understand, actually like playing in this stuff.
Well, they were talking, every player we talked to and coach we talked to about the Colts playing in that huge snowstorm.
They loved it.
Against Buffalo. They loved it. They thought, obviously, other than the outcome of the game, but they said, you know, as a player and a coach, those are environments that are special.
Brissett sets up the screen. This is Marlon Mack, and Mack, 40, 35, 30, inside the 25-yard line. Nicely designed screen by the Colts. Tony Jefferson and Marlon Humphrey making the stop after a 29-yard pickup.
Well, I just mentioned the fact that Gore is going to have a good time running through arm tackles because it's hard when you're slippery for the tacklers. Look how many guys wrap up Marlon Mack and aren't able to bring him down. Normally a very sure tackling team, the Baltimore Ravens, but these conditions didn't allow it on that play.
From the 24, Gore back into the lineup. This is Gore, and this time he'll get thrown for a loss by Terrell Suggs.
Suggs going against Joe Haig is on the right side. He's able to shed Haig pretty quickly. Little swim to the inside, gets Gore in the backfield.
A loss of 2, a loss of 3, 2nd and 13. Brissett under center. And we have penalty markers fly. The pass over the middle, that's complete. And this is Kamar Aiken, and Aiken to the 15, and let's check the flag.
Well, this is what you have to decide now. If you're Chuck Pagano, do you take a 2nd and 8, or do you take a 3rd and 2, maybe 3rd and 1.5?
Offside, defense number 55. 5-yard penalty and repeat, 2nd down.
So it looks like he wants the extra down, taking the penalty as opposed to taking the gain and making it 3rd and just less than 2. Different coaches have different philosophies on that. Do you take the extra down? Do you take the distance?
More opportunities with the ball.
More opportunity with the ball here, so you get an extra snap.
Coming up on 3 minutes to play in the 3rd. Gore breaking tackles inside the 20 to the 17. That'll leave him about 3 yards short of a 1st down. Tony Jefferson again in on the stop.
Well, now, so instead of the 3rd and 2, now you have a 3rd and 3, but you have an opportunity. You put the ball in Frank Gore's hands. Somebody misses a tackle. You can get a bigger play, so you understand why they take that chance getting that extra down. I wouldn't be surprised here. A quick play fake. Try and get a receiver out in the flat. Maybe get Doyle over the middle. Something shorter.
Second trip to the red zone for the Colts. First time in, they had a touchdown. Play fake indeed, but Brissett, no place to go, and he's wrapped up. Matthew Judon came into this game with 15 tackles for a loss to lead the Baltimore Ravens.
There's your favorite play, the RPO. Run pass option, except that was a run option. There was no pass involved. Brissett just reading. Looks like Judon is who he was looking at on the outside, trying to decide if he was going to keep it or hand it off to Gore. Would have been better handing it off after that result.
Vinatieri from 38 yards. And off of the upright and through. It has been an adventurous night for Adam Vinatieri. 16-13, Ravens.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by Lyft. It matters how you get there. Download and ride today.
The rain continues to come down. This is where you thank you lucky stars, because it was a little colder. Could be a lot of snow.
Sure, it would be like that Buffalo game, you're right.
Through the end zone, and the touchback will start the Ravens at their own 25. We'll remind you about a Christmas Day special. Big Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers square off against Jadeveon Clowney and the Houston Texans. Steelers and Texans Christmas Day at 4:30 on NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. Flacco and the Ravens from their own 25. That pass, had to go back and reach for it, was Benjamin Watson.
Well, and just like what the Colts were doing offensively, expect that from the Ravens as well. Try and get some control passing underneath, get the run game going. If you're going to take a shot, pushing the ball up the field, it'll come off a play-action pass.
By the way, Baltimore fans should know that Chuck Pagano is just absolutely delighted to be back here in this town tonight. Had so much fun here, and he says he owes so much.
He was very complimentary of the city, the fans. Had a lot of good things to say.
Here comes Michael Campanaro. Campanaro out of bounds at about the 39-yard line. But a first down. Matthias Farley ran him out of bounds.
Well, just before that snap, we saw a picture of Marty Morningwig as he called this play. Good selection here, getting out in space with Campanaro. It's like running a sweep, except you've got him in motion. You hit him on the go right away. As we see there, they've had some success with long drives today.
Woodhead in motion to the other side of the formation. Flacco with time over the middle. That's complete to Woodhead. And he'll be marked down at about the 44. In bad weather, your coordinator, do you have to get more creative, less creative?
You know, I don't know if you necessarily have to get more creative. I think you just have to understand how is your quarterback handling the situation. So far, they're handling it well.
We're at the end of 3. Baltimore by 3. Back after this message and a word from your local station. Along with our producer Ken Mack, our director Suzanne Smith, Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, Jamie Erdahl in Baltimore. As we start the fourth quarter in a game the Baltimore Ravens need, as well as one next week, to ensure a spot in the postseason. 2nd and 6. Flacco with time. Coming across the field is Benjamin Watson, and Barkevius Mingo there to make the tackle.
You can see Flacco looking down the field, had a quick little draw look, came off the play fake, wanted Wallace down the middle of the field. There was no room to get the ball in there. Coverage was good, and then hit the underneath drag route to Watson. Watson already 5 catches on the night.
By the way, fourth quarter has not been kind to the Indianapolis Colts this season. Scoring differential, they are a minus 88 in the fourth quarter, which is last in the NFL. Baltimore a plus 55. That pass, run up and getting it is Danny Woodhead, and that's a first down. Out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
Well, give all the credit in the world on that one to Danny Woodhead. That ball was high and behind him. He's coming in motion, goes out to the left flat, and Flacco throws an inaccurate ball. Woodhead's able to reach back and snag it to get the first down.
That's a nice catch in good weather.
That is a great catch in good weather, and obviously the ball was slippery. It came out of Joe's hands a little bit wobbly and behind, but Woodhead with a great catch.
Give it to Alex Collins, and that one goes nowhere, thanks to number 92, Margus Hunt. Loss of 6, 2nd and 16.
Margus Hunt's going to come into the backfield here. This is several times tonight that we've talked about him getting into the backfield and causing problems. Huge tackle for loss by the Colts.
This Colt defense has made several really good stands on defense tonight. Flacco over the middle, and that catch is made just inside the 45-yard line by Brashad Perriman. That will leave the Ravens 3rd and 9.
That's a heck of a catch by Perriman. That's 2 catches in a row after Woodhead's catch, and then Perriman there digging down low and Once again, these conditions don't make those catches easy.
Deep drop for Flacco. Scrambling left, throwing, diving catch is made by Campanaro. Then there's a penalty flag in the middle of the field.
Great job on the pickup of the blitz. That allows Flacco time to slide out of the pocket and find Campanaro on the drag across.
Here's Tony Correnti. This is a big call.
Holding, defense, number 27. A 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
So that is a big break for Baltimore. Hairston gets the Colts' first penalty of the day, and it's a big one.
Hairston is in coverage on Campanaro right in the middle of the field. See him grab his waist with the left arm and his shoulders with the right arm. Easy call for the officials.
Flacco tipped, incomplete. Trying to set up the screen, and Jabal sheared, second time tonight. He's gotten a hand on a forward pass.
Well, this has been a heavy part of the game plan, and to have a play fake one way, look another way, pump fake, come back. This is probably the third or fourth time tonight that we've seen them do that. Try and cause some confusion with the defense, do some misdirection stuff. They even came back one time through a middle screen to the tight end, that time trying to get it back to Williams, and sheared, as you said, getting the tip.
Under adverse conditions, Flacco, 26 of 34 for 217 yards and a touchdown tonight. Flacco now throwing out to the near side. That is complete to his tight end, Max Williams. And he's cut down by Anthony Walker and Quincy Wilson. So it'll be 3rd and 8.
Well, and that was a pass that we've seen several times tonight where they do a hard play fake. They bring the interior of the line. They try and sell the run. Wallace goes up the middle. He tries to sit down about 20, 25 yards, finds that hole in the middle of the field. That time the Colts didn't allow that passing lane, forced the throw underneath, came up and made the tackle.
3rd and 8. Flacco is on the move again, throwing sideline, and it is incomplete, and the flag flies. Campanaro, the intended receiver, and Nate Hairston was there.
They're going to get Hairston again, this time on pass interference instead of holding.
Looked like it hit him early.
He definitely got there early. Just determines if they decide to where the ball is. You see the contact starts early.
Defense number 27. The ball is placed at the spot of the foul and an automatic first down.
With the placement of that ball, that definitely would have been a completion had he not gotten there early. Or at least it would have been contested because it was in the field of play.
14-yard gain on the penalty. And the Ravens now from the Colts 23. The pitch for Collins with blockers in front of him. Collins out of bounds at about the 15. Trent, under conditions like this, how much of the playbook gets eliminated?
Well, you think when I talked to Marty Morningwig, I said, how much is the rain going to affect Joe Flacco? And he said, because of the size of Flacco's hands and playing in these conditions before, he wasn't too concerned with it. He said, now through the course of the game, if you see that you're having problems, maybe problems with the shotgun snap, problems with the delivery and accuracy, then you can adjust things as it goes. But coming into the game, he didn't anticipate it being a problem. Now the wind may be more of a factor in terms of some of the down the field throws.
On 2nd and 2, Collins looking for a first down, and he's got it. Almost to the 12.
Last time a run to the outside to the left, this time a run to the outside to the right. He recognized if he stretched that all the way to the boundary, that wasn't going to take place. Kenny Moore was going to be there to cut it off, so he turned north and south and was able to get past the sticks for the first down.
Collins with terrific cutback ability, even under these conditions. Javaris Allen now into the backfield.
41.
First down from the 12. Allen, right side to about the 8. Markevius Mingo dragged him down. And a little bit more pushing and shoving.
Imagine that. It's Jensen again and Jabal Sheard again. Those two have been exchanging pleasantries since the first quarter.
Clock continues to move. We come up on 9.5 to play in regulation. This is the 5th time they have had a drive of 10 or more plays.
Look for play action here.
Allen inside the 5 to the 4. Let's see, he'll be marked down at the 5. So that'll leave him 3rd and 3. Five drives of 10 plays or more. First time since 2011 at Pittsburgh.
Well, that usually leads to a pretty big discrepancy in time of possessions. Right now it's 19 minutes for the Colts and 32 minutes for the Ravens.
Flacco throwing outside, wide open in the touchdown. Max Williams. That's his first of the year.
Well, because of the effectiveness of running the football on 1st and 2nd down, sets up 3rd and short where you can get the play action pass. Colts lose track of Williams, who's lined up in the backfield, just running a flat route. Nobody there to cover him. It's a play we saw earlier in the game with different personnel group. That time's lining up a tight end in the backfield was the difference.
Tucker's extra point is good. 8 minutes, 40 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. Baltimore's lead is back to 10. The Ravens need a win now and a win next week for the NFL playoffs.
This NFL Network special is delivered by Papa John's. Free pizza with any pizza purchase of equal or greater value. And brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher, the proven sports fuel.
Back in rainy Baltimore, Maryland. Last 2 trips down, Vinatieri with field goals. Baltimore with a touchdown. 10-point lead, and that's when sailed through the end zone. And time for us to take a look at some next-gen stats presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Well, Joe Flacco has the arm to push it down the field, but he's had great success this season throwing to tight ends and running backs. In today's game, he has over half of his completions to tight ends and running backs, including the last touchdown to Max Williams.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Mercedes-Benz. Baltimore crowd getting a bit more vocal. 8:40 to play and a 10-point lead as you look at Joe Flacco on the sideline. His first 11 games this season, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. His last 4 times out, 7 touchdown passes and 1 pick.
Well, Jacoby Brissett and the Colts need to respond after falling behind by 10.
Brissett wide open up the middle and almost intercepted by C.J. Mosley, and Brissett had a man wide open just about 10 yards further downfield.
Well, and C.J. Mosley is going to come up initially and bite on the run fake right in the middle of your screen. He's going to come up on the run fake, and then he jumps up and nearly comes up with the interception.
2nd and 10. That pass complete on the quick slant to T.Y. Hilton.
Well, and that's 2 throws in a row now. If he keeps that one up to Doyle, that's going to be a big gain that time there. To Hilton, if he keeps the ball up, there'll be a big gain after the catch as they try and hurry up to the line.
On a 3rd and 1, this is Gore, and Gore fighting for first down yardage. Let's see where it puts him down. It'll be about a yard shy, and we have a penalty marker down.
Looks like they may be in position to where they get a holding call on this play. Usually you decline it and take the fourth down.
Number 62. The penalty is declined. It creates fourth down.
So fourth down and 1. The kind of situation we were talking with Chuck Pagano about last night.
Well, we said to these situations, do you all of a sudden become a little more risky? And considering you're down 2 possessions, 8 minutes to go, the way that the Ravens have controlled the ball, time of possession, keeping the ball away, you have no choice here but to go for it. Not sure how many more chances you'll get the rest of the way.
Gore in the backfield along with Brissett. And Brissett will throw for it. Brissett will run for it, and he gets the first down, diving across the 40 to about the 41, maybe the 42-yard line, and a first down.
Well, he's looking for the combination route to the right side with Kamar Aiken and Doyle. Doyle getting out to the flat. They tried running a rub route over there, and because of the collision, he couldn't get rid of the ball. Smart decision by Brissett to just burst up through and get the first down.
One of his gifts is the ability to run. We haven't seen that much of that tonight. 2 fakes, and then the long pass, and overthrew his man and almost intercepted. That's the second one that Weddle has missed tonight.
Well, Weddle came into tonight's game with 6 interceptions, tied for second in the NFL. That's another one that he had a chance to get an interception on, hit him right in the chest. I talked earlier about receivers using their hands. He did the same thing. He let it into his body, and it bounced right off his chest.
Neither team has committed a turnover so far tonight. 2nd and 10. Brissett's pass is complete to his tight end, Doyle. We have a penalty marker on the far side of the field. And this is going to go against Baltimore.
Offside. Defense number 90 lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty and repeat, second down.
That penalty on Zadarius Smith. So it's 2nd and 5 as we hit the 7-minute mark. Brissett, complete inside the 40 to the 35, and Chester Rogers rolls over holding a hand on his back and slow to get up.
Well, we've seen both sides come up with some great catches because of the inaccuracy with the wet footballs tonight.
That's Chester Rogers on the sideline, up and anxious to get back into the game. Looked like he took a knee in the back as he went down to catch the ball. 6.5 minutes to play. Marlon Mack to about the 32. Matthew Judon making the stop.
I've been impressed with all the running backs tonight. The way they've been able to cut in these conditions. Mack and Gore on the Colts side, and then Alex Collins and Allen on the other side. It's been impressive the way they've been able to plant and continue to make cuts in these wet conditions.
Brissett on 2nd and 7. Sideline pass. It is incomplete. Talked about early on, Anthony Costanzo tasked with putting the stops on Terrell Suggs.
Well, and he talked to us yesterday about he thinks Terrell Suggs is more of a bull rush guy. And he said he likes that. He's looking forward to the challenge. He felt embarrassed his rookie year when Suggs was able to pretty much do whatever he wanted against him, and he felt better the second time he went against him, but he was looking forward to the challenge, and so far tonight he's been able to hold up.
And it was quite the eye-opener,
yes,
that first time out. Here's a 3rd and 7. Brissett throwing, complete, over the middle, Hilton, and Hilton out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Give this completion to the offensive line. T.Y. Hilton comes up. He works his way all the way across the field. The amount of time Jacoby Brissett had to stand in that pocket, go through his reads. He went through 1 read, 2 read on the right-hand side. His 3rd read was T.Y. Hilton coming across the field. Great job by the offensive line giving him that kind of time.
$100-yard receiving game for T.Y. Hilton today. The fake to Gore. Brissett pulls it down, looking, and is going to run with it, and is out of bounds at the 10. It'll be about a 5-yard pickup. Again, something Jacoby Brissett does well, runs with the football, hasn't had that much chance to do it today.
He hasn't. That's just because of the style of defense that Baltimore plays, and that time he had a chance. He could have flipped it to T.Y. Hilton, but it would have only been a gain of 1 or 2 yards. Instead, you just pump fake a couple times, extend it, stretch it out to the side, and he ultimately ends up picking up 5 yards.
Under 5 minutes to play. Brissett looking around, tries to spin out of trouble, and got rid of it.
Well, that's risky, especially in these conditions with a wet football to be spinning around the way he is. He was able to get that ball out. Not intentional grounding because he's outside the pocket. Very dangerous, but he got away with it.
1, 2, 3 guys around him. Still got away with it, yeah. 3rd and 5. And he's got to use a timeout with the play clock running down. First timeout used in the second half by either team. It leaves the Colts with 2. 4:42 to play in the 4th.
This NFL Network special is brought to you by KFC. Fill your family's mouth stockings with a $20 fill-up. It's finger-licking good. And by Amazon Prime.
Welcome back to Baltimore. 3rd down for the Colts. They don't need a touchdown here. They still need 2 scores, but they'd sure like to have one.
That's what's important to remember if you're Brissett. Don't try forcing it in there.
Brissett backs out, threw it away. And onto the field will come Vinatieri in the field goal unit.
Well, that's a smart decision. We just got through saying, Greg, you mentioned the fact they need 2 scores instead of taking a 15-yard sack and making this a much more difficult field goal attempt. Throw the ball away with nothing there and keep it a shorter distance.
Vinatieri, he's made 2 and missed 2.
30.
This one from 30 yards out. Snap is down, the kick is good. 4:33 to play here in the 4th. 3 more points on the ledger for Adam Vinatieri. 23-16 Ravens. Another long drive. We've had several this evening. 13 plays, 64 yards, took 4 minutes off the clock. Will not run this one out of the end zone, and so the Ravens will start from the 25-yard line. Tonight on NBC, Case Keenum and the playoff-bound Minnesota Vikings taking on Jordy Nelson and the Green Bay Packers in an NFC North showdown. Vikings, Packers tonight at 8:30 on NBC. Minnesota can clinch a first-round bye with a win and a Carolina loss tomorrow.
Maybe some players salty in that one, Greg. Got to remember the first matchup of the season. That's when Rodgers got hurt, so have to keep an eye on that as well.
Collins gets 2. And a quick timeout is called by the Colts. That's their second timeout used here in the second half.
That's aggressive. That's aggressive to use the timeouts that early. 4.5 minutes left. You're obviously counting on getting a 3 and out. Maybe he has the mind. We asked him, how much of an advantage do you have having been on John Harbaugh's staff? And maybe he knows that Harbaugh was going to go into 4-minute mode and try and use up as much clock as he could. So why not use the timeouts early on and hope to get the ball back quickly and give your team even more time to use?
There's a 4-minute mode?
There is a 4-minute mode, yes. You try, as an offense, you're just trying to milk the clock. You're trying to, if you have the lead with 4 minutes to go, you like to think as an offense you can seal the game, and that's ultimately what the Ravens are trying to do right now.
Play fake this time. Flacco throwing up the middle, that's complete. Mike Wallace has the first down. Huge first down for the Ravens.
Well, because that's what you're thinking, the linebackers are going to be aggressive to try and stop the running game. Wallace is able to get to that second level, find that gap between the linebackers and safeties, an accurate throw, picking up the first down for Baltimore.
14 yards, and the Colts used their third and final timeout.
That one I maybe would have saved. With one timeout, I maybe would have saved that. Instead of calling it 4-17, maybe if you get a third down later on, you know they're going to have to punt, or maybe use it and save it for that situation. But I don't have a problem with them being aggressive either.
Now you know only an incomplete pass stops the clock in the 2-minute warning. Collins. 1.5 yards, maybe 2. Joe Flacco. We've talked about the surge he's had the last couple of weeks. He's continued that. He's played a good game tonight.
He has in these conditions. Hasn't always been as accurate as you would want, but that's because of wet balls and moving around, making plays on the run. 29 of 37 he is. This time is the touchdown pass out to Williams out in the right flat, coming out of the backfield. Done a great job controlling the ball. You've talked about the number of interceptions he had, more interceptions and touchdowns early in the season. Now in recent weeks, substantially more touchdowns than interceptions.
2nd and 9. Allen. And Allen across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. It'll leave it about a 3rd and 5. Flacco 29 of 37 for 237 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Clock continues to move.
Well, critical for the Colts to get a stop here on 3rd down to try and get the ball back. They get a stop here, then all of a sudden you got the 2-minute warning coming up. You'll have a chance to go down and get a score.
Penalty markers fly. Looks like Nick Boyle might have jumped.
I was going to say that was on Baltimore rolling before the snap. They're trying to get an easy 5 yards with the hard count.
False start. Offense number 86. 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
Yep, quick start off Boyle. And with 2:49 to play, the Ravens are now looking at a 3rd and 10.
Well, we just had a shot of the stands there. The wind has picked up again. It's been kind of one of those, you look at the sidelines and the way things are blowing, the ponchos that are going on. It's just been one of those games.
3rd and 10. And Flacco calls a timeout. So that's the first used by Baltimore here in the second half. AFC playoff picture looks like this. Tennessee and Buffalo holding down the wild card spots. Baltimore definitely in the hunt with a win here and a win next week. They're in no matter what Tennessee and Buffalo do.
Well, and both Tennessee and Buffalo have some tough ones. Buffalo, I believe, plays New England, and Tennessee plays the Los Angeles Rams. So all the games are tough this time of year, especially when you're trying to secure that playoff spot.
Third and 10. Flacco over the middle, incomplete. Great defensive play made by Kenny Moore, number 42.
Well, the Colts decided to bring pressure that time on 4th and 10 or 3rd and 10. They decide to blitz and go man-to-man. Wallace working across the field and Moore able to knock the ball away. Got to remember on that earlier scoring drive, Harrison had 2 critical, one a holding call, one a pass interference call to continue that drive that Baltimore ended up ultimately getting a touchdown out of. That time, Moore not getting a penalty but knocking the ball away. Critical also that it stops the clock.
And it has not been a great night for the punters.
It is not, and he's going to be, Cook's going to be punting into the wind. A little kind of a headwind, crosswind in the direction he's going.
Cook has kicked for 28 and 43 yards. Got it blocked. On the ground. The Colts cover it inside the 30-yard line. Terrell Basham was the one who recovered for Indianapolis.
Well, Chuck Pagano told us there is no quit in his team. He doesn't care what the record is, what part of the game it is. It's just the character of his team and his players. He had so many compliments to say, even though it's been a struggle all season long, but incredible job by the Colts. Put themselves in position to go down and tie this thing up, or Greg, do you go for 2 and go for the win if you get the score?
Anthony Walker, the rookie. Meanwhile, Cook, 376 straight punts without a block until then. First down, Indy at the Baltimore 27. Screen to this side, Frank Gore to about the 23.
Well, I tell you what, the way that thing was set up, I thought it was going to get a much bigger chunk of yards than that. Tremendous job by the Ravens rallying to make that tackle. Henry getting the tackle. I thought for sure that was going to break out, get a first down, but get it down around the 10-yard line. Nice job, good response.
Coming up on 2-minute warning. Brissett to the near sideline, complete and going out of bounds is Jack Doyle with 2:03 to play.
Well, I think he's going to have enough for the first down also.
First down, Indianapolis.
One more play here before the 2-minute warning.
Gore to the 10. And that's where we'll pause with 1:57 to play. Hey, stay tuned for the Mazda post-game show. Chris Rose, Deion Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson. Think they'll have anything to talk about? Highlights and analysis of our game, which has 1:57 to go. The Ravens 23, the Colts 16. 2nd and 3 for Brissett and the Colts. Gore running out of room to run. He's going to lose yardage. Forward progress will be marked at about the 12.5. And Baltimore calls a timeout.
Well, and this is definite 4-down territory, obviously, without saying, but that time going back to, last series they had that run option down here where Brissett kept it. I don't think that was an option. I think it was just a straight handoff. I don't think the way they were blocking it didn't look like it was a read by Brissett. It was more just a straight handoff. I would just continue attacking the middle of the line the way they've been doing it. That time it stretched to the outside.
Baltimore calling a timeout here in the event they score and save themselves some clock.
In the event that they score, save themselves some time. But I think if the Colts score, I think they should go for 2.
3rd and 5. Brissett. He's trying to elude the pressure, tripped up and goes down at the 18-yard line. Matthew Judon, Willie Henry applying the pressure. Baltimore with a timeout. Their 3rd and final of this half.
Well, when they needed the pressure, they got the pressure. There's been a good pocket most of the night for Jacoby Brissett. But that time the edges collapsed around him. He had to step up in the pocket. Henry's able to finish him off.
Both teams now out of timeouts.
You have to remember, if the Colts can get it down inside the 7, they can get a first down. They don't have to score.
Fourth and 10.
T.Y. Hilton in the slot.
Brissett throwing. Incomplete at the 5.
Hilton looking for the flag and no flag coming.
Maurice Kennedy broke it up. Brissett pleading his case to an official.
Pressure off the edges for Brissett. He slides up in the pocket.
There's where the argument is coming in.
Well, Kennedy had his arm around the back of Hilton. Definite contact before that ball comes in. It was before the cut, even a little bit before that, where he had his arm wrapped around the shoulder pads of T.Y. Hilton as he comes out of the cut. Yeah, they're collision and both are going back for the ball. I don't believe the penalty was when they both were going for the ball. I thought it was before he made the cut and tried coming out of the cut.
A couple of snaps and the Baltimore Ravens are halfway home. This win and a win next week against Cincinnati in this stadium puts the Ravens in the postseason.
Well, and it's no matter how you get it done. It wasn't the prettiest of wins. These conditions weren't pretty conditions. They come in, they've been playing well. Since the bye week, they were 4-1. Make that 5-1 now.
In a game that was pretty much a given for the Baltimore Ravens, the Colts came in here and played a gritty game. Stay tuned. The Mazda post game. Chris Rose, Deion Sanders, LaDainian Tomlinson will have highlights and analysis of today's game. One more snap.
Well, this is a dangerous team headed into the postseason. If they can get the win next week, these Baltimore Ravens, but you have to give it up to Chuck Pagano and the Colts, not giving up at all the effort they showed coming down to the very end.
Two good friends meeting at midfield.
Partner, we're lucky. This is a great football game.
Joe Flacco played a heck of a football game.
Well, it was a clean football game. No turnovers by either team. Very few penalties by either team. Just a hard-fought battle.
The playoff picture looks like this. The Ravens now 9-6 and leapfrog Buffalo into that first wild card spot. Those teams still to play tomorrow. And then another weekend before we completely decide this AFC playoff score. Our final score once again. Baltimore 23, Indianapolis 16. Coming up next, it's the Mazda post-game show, and there are a world of playoff scenarios to examine. One thing is for certain, the Ravens have taken the first giant step toward the postseason among those three teams. For Trent Green, for Jamie Erdahl, for all of us here at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thank you for joining us, everyone. It has been a rainy night and a big night for Baltimore. Thanks for being here. You've been watching an NFL Network special.